Hi, stay with us. My guest and the information he is going to share with us today is breathtaking. I brought him for my own selfish reasons. In case you don't know me, my name is Dr. Aijaz Qureshi from Toronto, Canada. I'm on the mission to empower 1 million global social entrepreneurs to fish for life by providing them quality entrepreneurial education. Information in this interview will change your life forever. I'm going to take action for the next many years until something big happens in my life. Stuff like this he is going to share happens almost every 10 to 15 years when technologies change. This is exactly my guest is expert on. If you want to learn all this, stay with us and watch the whole interview and tag the people who are significant to you. My guest is a serial entrepreneur, founder of Sea Fresh, and chair Rainbow Schools. Today we have Amjad Pervez. Welcome, Amjad Pervez.
Thank you, Aijaz. It is absolutely my pleasure to be on this wonderful platform. Like you, I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm also an entrepreneur that likes to see other people become involved in entrepreneur. So I have a snap, what I say to my young people when I engage: get out of the wage cage mentality. Go take a risk. That risk is worth it. But let's make sure it's a calculated, maneuverable risk, so you actually make the most of what you do in the endeavors you put into your projects.
So my first question to you is, where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Well, this actually applies to probably 6 million Pakistanis across the globe who are overseas Pakistanis. My story actually is the story of the subcontinent and the British Empire. My father actually saw action in the British Indian Army in Burma. And as you know, after the war, the economies of Europe were decimated. The empire countries like Pakistan, India, and various others like Malaysia were liberated. But obviously they were at the beginning of their journey of developing their industrial structures. But Britain obviously needed cheap labor. So a lot of the ex-soldiers like my father came to UK in the 50s, just after the war. But in 1969, my father decided that we as his children should actually come to UK. So as a 10-year-old coming from Punjab, then actually coming to Karachi, I was brought to this wonderful country, which was then marred by smog. It was cold, it was bitter, no sunshine. But Alhamdulillah, people say, and from through my experience, I know it so, when you're an entrepreneur, there are other things that push you. And in our case, it was poverty. So a lot of the overseas Pakistanis, and with poverty, I believe Pakistani people, our human capital is one of the most entrepreneurial in the world. Despite the difficulties, look at the noise that we make across the globe. So I actually lived in London first in the early 70s, then moved to Bradford, got educated here, worked for the financial sector. That's where I got my training in terms of strategic vision, core objectives, the alignment with cascading down of the goals. But that wasn't me. I was a free spirit. I wanted to do things my own way. I couldn't take orders from other people. Now that wasn't derogatory. I just wanted to do things my way. But when I graduated, I didn't have any money. So we started with a very small corner shop in Bradford. And what I did was I didn't actually do the ordinary. I picked a niche market, which was the Afro-Caribbean market. So we did the Afro-Caribbean food, we did the cosmetics. That meant I had a niche market. I didn't have to work on price competitiveness. And then as the business grew, we moved into catering and hospitality. We started importing seafood from Pakistan. And Alhamdulillah, now Sea Fresh and Adams Group is one of the largest independent food service and cash and carry groups in the UK, with a supply chain across the globe. and as you said, I then got involved with government, strategic policy making, helping youngsters, and I developed a concept called the ecosystem of enterprise, which is about how education should be leveraged with entrepreneurialism. So when you get a degree, you should be able to use that degree during your study and after your study. So the investment that you've made, you should be able to pay back from that. So that is really my vision and where I come from and my kind of life's journey.
Brilliant. That was wonderful. My next question to you is, please share with us, what are your immediate plans to grow your business? Yes.
Well, I take the mantra that if you're actually in your business, doing the day-to-day business, that's perfect. If you love that, carry on doing that. But if you look across the globe and look at the biggest companies across the globe, are the owners actually in the work doing operational stuff? No, they're not. What they do is they bring great specialists and actually align them with their vision. So in my own little way, I'm copying the giants of today and putting management structures in my businesses, so I don't have to be there. And over the last 5 years, operationally, I've actually moved away from my businesses. I do a lot of stuff that you do. I do a lot of mentoring. I run schools. I am involved with universities, colleges, where I go and lecture about entrepreneurialism and the practical ways of how we empower people. So I believe in charity, right? But charity, and I'm with the greatest respect to charities are in business because they need people to look up to them, right? My job is to end the job of the charity. So like you said, let's help people fish for themselves, right? And the day the charities finish, I think my job will be done. But that's a long way ahead yet, I think.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing how you're going to grow your business. So please, could you share with us what are the 3 actionable steps that others can take to implement in their business or charity today?
This is an absolutely gem of a question because it goes to the heart of mentoring. Because sooner or later, you've got to arrive at a point where you give somebody advice. But you see, a lot of mentors unknowingly make a mistake that they give holistic answers to that question. It all depends where the person is in their journey of entrepreneurialism. So the advice that you give to somebody who's thinking about starting a business is completely different to somebody who's been in business for 20 years and who wants to take it to a national level or an international level. So I'm going to give you 3 kind of my tips. So if you're somebody who's thinking of starting a business, these are the things that you need to look at. Don't copy somebody. Don't be a me too creature, right? Just because somebody's got a beautiful pizza shop, don't just copy them, right? If somebody's got a delivery system, right, don't try to copy them because they do, right? What you've got to do is, where is the problem? Where is the dysfunctionality? Where is it that the people and the customers are most dissatisfied? Now look at the problem and create a business around that overcomes that dysfunctionality of service or product. I guarantee you, if you follow that route and set up a business on that basis, alhamdulillah, if you've got the right attitude and you've got the right people in place and you market your product to the right segment, right, you will be successful. Right. The number 2 advice is, if you've already set that business, so if you followed from our first advice and gone to, and now you've been in business for say a year and 2, you've got your brand, you've got your customers, right, and you've got your niche. My next thing to you would be, how do you actually now scale up? Now this is all about how do you now actually devolve what is in your head to other people. So how do you create leaders within your organization? HR people, PR people, marketing people, finance people. Get specialists. You are, imagine, right, are a conductor in an orchestra. You're the lead guy with that stick in your hand, and the people who are following you are best at what they do. Your job is to conduct those masterpieces, those brilliant musicians that you've got around you. The day you do that, your business will explode. That's my advice number 2. Now, if you're a business that is a mature business and you've been around a long time, now, in my kind of 20 years of mentoring and coaching businesses of that nature, is at that stage, either 2 things will happen, right? The second generation or the third generation has stepped in, and they're too damn lazy. Yeah, they've got it made. So they go into what I call a photocopy life. They pretend that they're working because the business is running on an autopilot. Right? They come in, they pretend the CEO, the managing director comes in with his, Bentley or a Porsche, right? And he parks in his reserved car position, and he orders people around, right? Not knowing that they haven't got a vision now, the new vision where they need to be. They haven't got a vision, and more importantly, the people that they've gone out and employed, they've really not given them the vision and the authority to go on. And more importantly, have they actually employed the latest technology, right? And businesses in the past have been looking at historical data in order to make decisions. With today's technology of artificial intelligence, with predictive management information systems that you've got to get that in. Because then you are not being reactive. You're actually looking ahead. You're looking in the front window rather than through the back door, right? So my advice would that be, re-look at that, right? Re-look at your mission. Look at the team and re-advocate.
Thanks for sharing 3 actionable steps that others can take to implement in their business or charity. Could you please tell us what is the single most failure in your professional life? What was the lesson learned, and how did you recover from it?
Like you said, this is an absolutely brilliant question. And in life, in the journey of life, and particularly in our cultures, and sadly in the cultures of the East, if somebody mistakes, they get the danda out, right? You've made this mistake, you're fired, you're banished from the village or the city, right? I think we need to change that culture. Yeah. When we make mistakes in life, what we've got to do is put our hand up and say, you know what, I made that mistake. But then go back to the decision-making process that led you to make that decision. What was wrong with the decision-making process? Who actually gave you the data or the information based upon and what steps did you take? So it becomes a learning it's a cumulative knowledge accumulation process to hone your skills in future. When you make those similar kind of decisions, you don't make the same mistakes again. So my personal example was, I'm somebody who went to university, did a degree in business studies, specialized in marketing research, right? But when I actually started my business, you know what? I never put all that, what I learned in the 4 years, into practice. You know why? It's what I said earlier on. I was in the business, firefighting on a daily basis, buying, selling, customer services, hiring people. I didn't have the time to look at the strategic decision making. It was all about getting the cash in, making sure the payments were done, and we were growing. But that's the wrong strategy, right? What I should have done, if I went into food service, I should have brought in the best food service consultants that are out there. They should have given me, right, the strategy. So if I'm in technology business, yes, I know about technology, right? But there are people out there who are 100 times better than me, right? I should have paid them for their 100 times better than me. Yeah, and use their knowledge to formulate the strategy, the objectives, right, and the tactics, right? I only actually learned that when I actually joined the local enterprise partnership in UK. Now, these are organizations that are set up by the local, the national government. I actually chaired that for 2 years. And it hit me, right, how wrong I had been. But after that, alhamdulillah, right, I learned very quickly that, you know what, bring in the people, pay them, but make sure their advice is relevant to your business. So make the best of your bucks or rupees or pounds from the advice that you get and implement it into your business, and you will fly.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us. My next question to you is, if someone is watching us right now, how they can support you?
It's not whether how they can support me. The world today is no longer, right, about the highs or the lows. We're all equal. This little time bomb, this phone that we hold in our hand, right? There was a time when Baghdad used to be the center of learning. London is the center of learning. New York is the London. MIT is the center. Now the power is moving to the east, to Beijing, New Delhi, Islamabad, right? Kuala Lumpur, it might be even Istanbul, right? But every single thing that you need is on that blooming phone. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that you are the best person to use it. Like I said earlier on, read, that's number one. And bring in people who are recognized, who are accredited. There are a lot of people out there who pretend to be the best coaches, to be the best consultants. See if they're properly accredited. Ask who they've actually mentored. Speak to the mentorees and say, look, you use this firm. What were the results? What were the bad points? What were the good points? So use benchmarking, right? So it's not whether they can help me. I think it's a journey of togetherness. It's the journey of equals. I will learn from them and they'll learn from them. Have an open mind. Have an open mind of learning, but be critical, because sometimes too much information is what I called paralysis by analysis, right? Have knowledge that is relevant to what you're doing. Don't be information overloaded.
Well, viewers, you heard how you can support, so please do so. So our show is coming to the end. What would you say as a final word?
Do not be afraid, but when you make a decision, research it, go to the best authoritative sources for that decision making. When you're making a business decision, make sure it's relevant to the business model that you've got. Make sure it's relevant to the team that you've got. Make sure it's relevant to the vision that you've got, because everything comes back to your vision, then the mission, and then the team. Empower them. Make sure you give them, don't be a dictator. The day you become a dictator, everybody's going to become a yes person, and that will not unleash their entrepreneurialism, right? Have a free and open kind of environment, but put parameters around your key objectives so people actually use their entrepreneurialism within the boundary line. So when you play tennis, you can be the best player, but you've got to play within that boundary line. When you play squash, you play within the rules within that squash, right? That's what you've got to do. Imagine it's a sport that you want to be the best in the world, but put the boundary lines for your team and you will succeed like crazy.
Thank you so very much for sharing your wisdom with us today. On behalf of myself, my team, and the entire community, we appreciate you.
It's been my pleasure, and good luck to everybody. Be brave and go out there and multiply and create prosperity for the world.
This is Dr. Aijaz Qureshi, wishing you good luck and good sales. I hope our paths will cross again at another GSC Foundation interview. All the best wishes to you.